Geico headquarters in Montgomery County into a new residential community, but it has strong opposition from people who live in the village of Friendship Heights. Our Matt Gregory talked with neighbors who say promises made years ago would be broken by this new housing plan.
So this whole debate centers around an agreement from 1998 whereby Geico said in writing that if they sold the property, and they have now, the new owners would maintain this feeling of openness. Well, the new plans for this site are out, and neighbors say those promises are out the window, and now they're suing. You wouldn't think anyone would get sentimental about the old Geico property.
I've always thought the building was beautiful.
But the vice president of the Friendship Heights Village Council, Francine Klein, says the campus with lush trees and mid-century design created a welcome site. And that's why in 1998, Klein says Geico enshrined those features into a binding agreement for any future redevelopment.
To preserve the trees, to maintain and enlarge the green space, to build a ball field for youngsters, and to keep the buildings low rise.
So this year when the fence went up and the plans rolled out, Klein says she and her neighbors were shocked.
They were all very upset about it. We were promised by Geico that they would follow this plan.
Here's a look at what's proposed. EYA and Bernstein Management rolled out the development of Friendship Commons, a series of shops, townhomes, condos, and apartments with more than 500 units and promises of parks and green spaces.
They want to take down a lot of trees that we believe can be preserved. They don't want to build the ball field, and they want the buildings to be higher than low-rise buildings.
We called and emailed the management company. They've not responded, but Klein and the Village Council fired the first legal salvo, serving the developers with this lawsuit in May.
We think the law is very clear that they cannot proceed to redevelop this property without following the binding element.
You may ask, in an area ripe for redevelopment, is this a bit of not in my backyard?
I'm not opposed to redevelopment. In fact, we're going to be having another high-rise built on the corner of South Park and Wisconsin Avenue.
For her and her neighbors, it's about keeping the promise of the property. Now, the lawsuit doesn't halt development, but it does force the developers to answer by June 18th. In Friendship Heights, Maryland, I'm Matt Gregory, WUSA 9.